And welcome back. It's your friendly neighborhood ninja. And I am doing something a little different today, as you can see by the background. Just zoom out for a second. Yeah, this is the workspace I'm using today. Recently was able to acquire this workspace, so I'm going to utilize it for Orktober. That's right. I'll zoom back in here to my cutting board. So, anyway, how y'all doing? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Everything going well for you, and well, we'll just see how this goes. So, you might notice a few jump cuts throughout the video, and that's going to be fine. Mostly what I'm talking about today is building one single orc for Orktober. So, today I'll also showcase some of the orcs for our army. My kids and I, we've been working on these orcs for quite a long time. Some of them are named, some of them have real cool backgrounds, some of them are real tough guys. Like this guy right here. His name is Chuck. He's pretty tough. He's also pretty cool sometimes. But we're not talking about any of those other characters today. We're talking about a character for a game that my kids came up with. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about my kids' characters. I'm just going to go ahead and make the, whoops, that's out of order here. Let me put that, there we go, my kids' characters. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and work on the bits that I've found for that orc for our game. And jump cuts ensue. So, as I was going through some of my older stuff, I found this here box of orcs. I was like, oh, sweet. This is just what I needed. But then I was looking around, and I found, what the fuck? I had a second box of orcs somewhere? These both feel like they're full. And they, well, that's a lot of sprues. Yep. They're full. Okay, so we have plenty of orcs to make for October. And I did take some bits out of my old bits box, but let's see what else is in here. Games Workshop is not sponsoring the channel, but I kind of like their stuff. My family has been playing with these models for a long time. Yeah. So there's new transitions and old transitions. I like these, or transfers, or whatever you call them. If you guys want to pause the video to look at those are pretty neat. Be using those later for other projects. These are pretty cool. Very bright. Got suns and moons. This is gonna work out just right. Yeah, this is cool. I have some other projects in the works. Those are coming. So this is called a sprue. This is where all of our models come from. It has all of our heads, arms, bodies, and torsos, or whatever. I guess a body is kind of all of that included. So I've got some heads, got some arms, and legs, and other little bits and bobs. These are little shoulder plates, and I'm imagining this is a magazine for one of these here shooters. These are sluggers, according to Warhammer lore. Not super good at Warhammer, the actual game. Terrible with remembering rules and numbers. So, you know, that's a thing. You can see here we got the new in color instructions and the old Looks like they printed it off of a Xerox machine. Hey, look, there's more transitions in there. Sweet. Oh, they're old. What the? That's weird. I don't know if you can see the discoloration in the one set. I wonder if those are still good. Those will be our test transitions, but hey, look at those. Huh, let's do a side by side and see. Oh wow, yeah, that's different. Look at, oh wait, one's just a pamphlet. One's a pamphlet, and one is a book. Yeah, kind of weird. I didn't think about that before. Pamphlets. Perhaps it would be cheaper to produce pamphlets, instruction pamphlets, than books. The pamphlets are in color too. I don't know. But these are pretty good instruction booklets. They at least show you where all the bits are. And the old ones, the old books, let's see, is there rules in this pamphlet? Is this the rules? I don't know. One of these looks like, if you know how to read, it's easier to understand. What is this? What is this? Anyway, in the comments section, who knows how to play whatever edition Warhammer's on right now? I've lost count. It's like, I don't know, 10th edition or something. We started playing like 7th, and then 8th came along. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But that's besides the point. We're talking about orcs today. Orcs. So, let's get some of these bits cut out and glued together. Alright. Let's snip some bits. Now, I want my orc to have some extra shoulder armor. And this is pretty good right here. I want this one. So we just snippity-doo-dah. Make snippity-doo-dah. You know, he needs extra bullets. Definitely extra bullets. Snip. Now, got some extra bits here. There's some bits that I cut off screen because it would take a long time to cut all those bits on camera. I'm not gonna lie, this setup is a little difficult to see through, but I've got my slugger, got my legs, got my power claw, because according to the lore that my kids told me, this orc has a power claw, or a crusher claw, as they would describe it. Picked out our head. I'm going to customize this guy pretty good. I'm not going to do all the gluing on camera. We'll try and do some of the gluing on camera, though. These are very fiddly bits, and I have enormous hands. Like, just imagine being that scale and someone picking you up being like, hello there, tiny person. Anyway, so sometimes this stuff gets a little tricky, and I might not film every little bit of me trying to glue these guys together, but I can show off some of the custom ones that I've been working on. Anybody who plays orcs will know where the bits came from, but they might not understand where the bodies came from. Probably should use the camera better. Here's a cool one that I was working on. Customized. Yes. He's going to have a power axe once he's all painted up and done. Hang on, jump cut. I forgot to cut the teeth out of this power claw. And yes, just trying to look at the camera and look at what I'm doing at the same time. Very difficult. Now we got the fingers of our power claw. Shazam. Alright, let's start gluing together. Now I'm going to be using Citadel glue because as much as I hate to give more money to Games Workshop than they deserve, it works pretty good. Now, I did test this glue out that I got down at my local hobby shop. Maybe I'll have to leave a link in the description to where that place is, because they're pretty good. Not going to curse as much as I possibly can, but they are pretty cool down there, and I'm not going to lie, if I had more money, I would have bought more than just glue. But I don't know. I probably don't need more models at the moment. I think our game's gotten quite big enough. So, anyway, on to gluing. Now, I'm going to be using this Citadel glue to start here because I only got so much left, and I want to see how far this gets me with this model. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do for a base yet. I feel like the first thing I want to do is glue his body together. Just starting by adding touches of glue in there, a good amount, because this is more like a chemical bond. As much as it is a glue, I wouldn't use it for everyday household purposes. This is more of a plastic glue. When they say that, it's because of the chemical reaction that happens, and the glue or the bonding agents that are in there start melting the plastic together, actually. Let's see here, we got a Games Workshop base. I try to put all my orcs on, all my Games Workshop orcs on Games Workshop bases. That looks pretty good. Huh? Well, he's not glued to the base yet, but this is where we start. And jump cut. So we've got his backpack glued on. His torso is attached to his legs. Now we're going to work on his arms. This slugger, I want to kind of put these little extra bullets hanging down like his slugger's chain fed. Because that's actually a thing. Like one of these guys has a chain fed slugger somewhere. Let's see which one is in here. Well, he's got a chain fed shooter. Anyway, I make my own. It's more fun that way. So this kind of deal is a bit fiddly, so I'm going to try and aim the camera. But just, you know, if you always go a little too heavy with the glue, you can always go back and scrape it off, I've noticed, so that's not a big deal. And with the Citadel glue, it gives you a few seconds to kind of set it up the way you want it to look. Just like that. Shablow, shablow, shablow. It's pretty good, like that. And as the glue's setting up, I'll still be able to adjust it a little bit here and there. So if I feel like it's not quite centered, which it's orcs, so nothing's quite right. That's probably why here their shooting is terrible. anymore. I mean, it never really was good, but mostly orcs seem to like to just bash things and smash stuff. So we'll set that off to the side to dry, because this guy's backpack is loaded with ammunition and probably some sort of rations of some sort, disgusting to human taste buds, but he probably loves it. Throw a little glue on here. Actually, I think I want more than that little bit. Just add more. And boom. Teeth of the claw, or fingers, are together. We'll get his other bits on in a minute here. Jump cut. Don't forget to put the cap back on your glue when you're done with it. Otherwise, your glue may evaporate and dry out, and then you don't have glue. You have to go buy more. One thing I noticed with my orcs is sometimes I've drilled out the barrel, and sometimes I have not. So one of the things I want to do today is, this guy's trying, is try and get some of these barrels drilled out. Ooh. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I think I'm going to need a new blade for my X-Acto knife. Sometimes a sharp blade is better because you won't hurt yourself as bad. So with this guy, he definitely needs his barrel drilled out here. This blade is not the greatest, but it'll do exactly what I need it to do. Some of my orcs don't even have guns. Just a bunch of skulls, apparently. That's pretty cool. This guy's awesome. But I'm going to start with this guy right here. Goes by the name of Chuck. Yeah, get out of my way. Just kind of aim for the center of the gun. Now, some people use little drills. I find that this is just fine. Sometimes you can poke yourself, but just gotta be careful. Go slow and gentle. It's not a race. This is very time consuming. That's why I figured it would be a good time to make a video. Just do something simple. This is taking longer than I thought, so I can put a little more pressure in there. Now also, you got to be careful that you don't push too hard that you break your model. You don't want to do that. I've been doing this barrel technique for a while now just because it looks a lot nicer in the finished product than to have that flat barrel. That guy's good. This guy has 2 shooters and a bullseye sign. So you know he wants all the heat, all the smoke, as the young ones would say. This guy has a bayonet on his one slugger, shooter, or whatever you call them nowadays. I don't even know anymore. So I gotta be kind of careful with this one. Just easy, back and forth, kind of like that. You want to get that hole started, but you don't want to go too deep, or say jab into the model and stab this guy in his eye, though. I'm sure I could make it look cool. kind of low on X-Acto knife blades right now, which I didn't think about. I think it's because this guy has a varnish on him that I put on that's making it so very difficult for this knife to get through. So I'm just going to scrape some of that away. Scrape, 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 scrape. Scrape, 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 scrape. This is the ASMR section. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Scrape. That's probably enough scraping. So now, back to the drilling. Sometimes you get that good angle. Hopefully this guy doesn't break, because I really like the paint job that I did on him. It's pretty good. Pretty solid paint job. So what do they... Just want to take my time. Don't want to hit that bayonet or break his little sign off his back. I think that sign's pretty fun. Like, you know what? I think that's going pretty well. This blade is not as sharp as I would like, so I think we're going to have to switch to the new blade. X-Acto knives are very dangerous. If you, just because this part's dull doesn't mean the bottom part is dull. So be very careful when dealing with X-Acto knives. This is a new X-Acto knife blade, as I'm showing you now. It's not that hard to put an X-Acto knife together. You just gotta slide it between that little X plus sign, whichever way you hold it, and then you tighten it back up. So let's see, hopefully I don't stab myself. I'll have to try and cut that out of the video. I don't want to do that. I'm just not going to stab myself. Oh, that's going a lot better. Look how fast that went. That's how you know you needed to change your blade. Now that hole's pretty good. I'm going lighter and lighter as I twist my knife, so that way I don't go too deep. Now that my blade is sharp, I gotta be extra careful over here. And once you put the black and the gunmetal back on, it'll look just fine. So that's 2 down and only like, oh, kind of a lot to go. 1, 2. Oh, that guy's good. 3. Come on. 4. And all these grots. Oh, man. I might have to do a jump cut. Look at this little goblin guy. He's just out here. Looks like a pretty scenic area he's in. Just trying to shoot him some wild squigs, I bet. Trying to live a peaceful life. Or, since he's a goblin, he's planning a raid on a human settlement. so that way he can take their loot and their scrap. Possible either way. Try to do this down here, closer to the gaming mat, so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Just digging little holes here. Digging. This little goblin out here, probably also plotting against the humans. I got here a boy with a pretty cool looking shooter, and he's also got a bunch of stick bombs. Trying to do this in front of a camera when the camera is directly in front of your hands is difficult. I don't know how these guys on the other crafty channels do it. What the hell's their setup? How do they get those shots? Are they wearing a GoPro? It's got to be a GoPro. This is so tedious. So tedious. That sound, though, I bet somebody likes that. Alright, pretty good. Oof. Another little goblin just out there in the woods, hunting for humans. Look at that, perfect start. See, now you gotta be careful with this, because sometimes you can snap the tip off of your X-Acto knife, and then you have a horrible drilling surface. And look at that, it's still nice and sharp. Do not play with X-Acto knives. Do not play with X-Acto knives. Extremely dangerous. This is Daisy. She is quite a tough orc. Yes, I know, in Warhammer lore, there's not really female orcs. But, you know, it's 2023. And I don't know how many female orcs are out there in Warhammer. Probably very few. Got this guy with a big old shooter. He got all the bullets, and he is very feisty. We'll just start digging. This guy's got a tiny bit of a start there already. Awesome. This is going better than I thought. We can check on our orc over here, see how he's going. Looks like the glue is settling. I'm going to be ready for putting him on his base in a minute. We got this here. This is a cyborg. He's probably more robot than he is orc at this point. And he is also a custom job. Look at that cool custom shooter claw. I mean, come on, tell me that's not cool. Orcs are fun. Orcs versus Space Marines is the best narrative for a fun time. Because orcs, they just kind of want to, you know, get their loot on, get some scrap going, build their own junk. Like some junk-ass truck that they found sitting in a warehouse somewhere. Or Possibly a truck that they stole from you. You know, they're just trying to live their lives. Their very orc lives. Little one-eyed goblin here. He's, you know, I'm pretty sure if he fired this, that it would break his little tiny goblin arm. But that's what's fun about Warhammer is almost every gun in it is super exaggerated. There's no way these weapons could ever exist. People more than likely wouldn't want to make a bunch of like poisonous chemical weapons, or people probably wouldn't want to make bombs that could blow up whole worlds, right? They probably wouldn't want to do that, right? Yeah, I'm sure they don't. Who makes that sort of thing? It's all just fantasy, right? So, now that that's done, let's go ahead and glue this guy up. We missed one friendly little goblin. He's probably a ninja. Look at him. Yeah. I forgot one. But he's got a double barrel little slugger thing. So he's possibly more accurate. He's 50% more accurate than his friends. The few friends that he has that are also goblins. But he's a sneaky little grot. Does a little bit of covert stuff sometimes. Sneaky. So that's done. Meh. Back to the gluing bit. Alright. Keep our cap handy. Looks sticky. I'm going to go ahead and try and attach this power claw first. One of the things that I learned back in school while making clay pots is to score your surfaces, right? So I'm just taking my knife here, if you can see. I'm just making little tiny grooves that the glue will sit in. Little hash marks. I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, you can. Ugh. Anyway, look at that. And then just, we're running out of glue. Nope, there we go. We're good. That should be enough. Put his arm down where he's in a less of attack position. Because I want him to kind of act like he's, kind of chilling with his crew here. Or they're moving through a space station of some sort. Because he's part of a 4-person crew. And he's their muscle. Makes sense, right? And I forgot this other bit that I wanted to put on him. This really fun, spiky shoulder pad. This works pretty good. So we just take a little glue and I'll put it right along this edge, because even if I use a little too much, you're not going to see it. It's going to be underneath. A lot of bit of glue. No. It's not that important. What's important is putting this guy together and getting this video done. So for the rest of this, I'm going to quick jump cut. And there's most of that gluing done. Got his shoulder pads on, got his head on, his arms are on, and I'm going to have to let him rest. before he gets glued to his base. We'll do a quick another jump cut. And there we go. We have him on his base. I think this will be perfect. Plus, he's also got to kind of fit in with the rest of the boys, as I imagine on the weekends when he's not hanging with everybody doing missions. He's probably out on a WA with the other boys. And there we have it. I have all 4 of the crew done. Bunch of orcs in the background there. They're all ready to go as well. I think this was a really productive video. Do a little quick showcase of each one of these little characters one more time. Yeah, that's right. He's got his gear, weapons, combat knife. We have a heavy weapons expert, both the plasma and other weapons that you might need. Gas mask, just in case. And then a little technician. She's got all the stuff that she's going to need to kit somebody out or fix up your ship. And then you got their muscle. He's their orc guy. And this is the orc that I got done for Orktober. I think this is pretty productive. So, all right. That's going to be about it for this video. Just remember, kids, I love you guys. I think about you every single day. And I just wanted to let you know that I love you. For everybody else out there, I've got nothing but love for you. Don't forget, I guess, to do the things that you know what you're supposed to do on a YouTube channel. I don't think I need to tell you. Much love, y'all.